assessment scores for third, fourth, and fifth. For this week, for the 24-25 school year plus 22-23, 22-23, 2 years ago, and the end of last year, 23-24. So you can see where we are going forward, whether you're comparing third grade to third grade or third grade to fourth grade. Sometimes that's apples to oranges, and sometimes it's apples to apples. So if you're looking at third grade to third grade, we went up 1 point, 49 to 50. Fourth grade to fourth grade, 44 to 50. That was up 6. Sometimes that tells what's going on in the classroom, how things are going, teaching styles, what's good, what's bad, what we need to hit all the way across the board. Fifth grade was 39 to 44. They were up 5. But if you look at 22-23 third graders to 23-24 fourth graders, which are the same set of children, we increased by 1. You do the same for fourth, going to fifth grade, they stayed the same. That's in math, sorry. Then on the right-hand side of that is your ELA. We went from 40 to 43 on third grade, up 3, fourth grade, 47 to 44, that one went down 3. Then when you go to fifth grade, it's 55 to 48, and it was up 3. So you can see we fluctuate, but are within that sort of band. If you're looking at the ELA for 22 to 23, the third graders to the next year, we increased by 4. If you do the fourth graders to fifth grade, we increased by 1. If you look at us compared to the state, third grade in math, we're a little below. Fourth grade, a little above. Fifth grade, a little more above. When you go to ELA, we were a teeny bit below in the third grade, a little below in fourth, and a little above in the fifth. So that is just county-wide all scores. If you look at your next page, it will show you individual proficiency at each school. So you have each school from Big Elm to West Milford, and you can see those scores. I don't know if you want me to read those to you. I think it's okay in front of you. But when you go to the next page, which is blue, you will see that it will be the third grade from one year to the next. And that's sort of where I pulled that third grade to fourth grade thing. But you will see each school that is front and back. And you can see when some schools went up a lot, it may be their score was poor last year. But they've increased a lot because they have put the work in. There's a large difference as you go across. And sometimes it is a group of children, sometimes it's a group of teachers. We've had a lot of turnover, but we've also put a lot of effort into these scores in these children where we are trying to get the basics in. With our phonemic awareness and phonics and the math, what I'm going to say, habits of mind, you are getting the basics down, and it's going to take a little bit. We're increasing, it's just not a fast increase. Okay, but if you look at the next set of sheets, it will be, the first one is math, and they're the white ones, and they have yellow on them. Those are, like, for example, your first one is your math, summative assessment, third grade. Okay, those are all the standards in third grade. The ones that are highlighted are the ones we were below 50% in countywide. When you look at, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that are there. When you look at fourth grade, and you look at that, there's 1. When you look at fifth grade, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. That is what we're taking, and we will do the same with the ELA, which is next in your thing. We are taking these to make our county plan, and we've already been doing it, It is to make a professional development plan where we can help all teachers on the weaknesses for the whole county. So, and I'm gonna introduce you, you guys know Karen Freeland, Stephanie Runyon. They're gonna get up here and speak to this, because they are the boots on the ground, they're the workers, and that's why we're gaining, I will tell you that. It is amazing what they do out in the schools. But with this, we are making a county plan. There is county PD, things that are offered here to everybody, anyone who wants to come, paid extra, that we do. And then these ladies went through with data day, with principals, with teachers, and have these made for each school. So not only are we doing a county plan, which is where I am more involved, but when we go to the school level, these guys are out there doing things every day, all day long. If you look on the opposite side, there's a lilac, bless you, a lilac paper. This is just what they have done in September, October, what we're doing. They've done PD at the county level. And each school, we're going to each school for both ELA and math. They have their own after-school session at the school where they're paid to be able to stay to get what they need, and it's only based on their weaknesses and their strengths. So we don't always want to look at weaknesses. So with that being said, do you have any questions? If more than likely, these ladies will be able to answer them better than I will, because I'd like them to tell you, show you what they do every day, how much they're going out there, and who they're working with, what they're doing. Not only are they helping teachers, working with teachers, they're going into classrooms where students are there. So if you can show that you can control a classroom and still do this strategy, they're the teacher. The teacher's back and watching. So there's a lot of modeling, a lot of things that teachers don't trust what you're going to tell them to do unless you can show them you can do it. And that is what we have in these two ladies. So I'm going to turn over to Karen Freeland, who's math, Stephanie Runyon, who is ELA. Questions first? Do you have?
Yeah. I was just wondering,
Yeah.
looking at the state and in fifth grade math, have they come up with any?
Something we're going to do as a plan?
Like, has the state given you any ideas as to what's happening in fifth grade?
No, not
Okay.
as to what's happening in fifth grade, but they are coming out. Almost 2 years ago, we started with the science of reading and implementation teams and what to do and how to train teachers. They are mimicking that with a thing, Math for Life, that they are doing, which Mrs. Freeland is heralding here and starting a team to do, because we go out with that team and train teachers on specific things that do come from the state and what they have learned, but it's in its infant stage.
Because there's a couple of schools I could see in the fifth grade that are following the same pattern as the state. So I thought, well, maybe if the state knew what was happening and going on,
Yeah.
maybe they could give us some indication as to what we're supposed to do.
We're hoping we get a little more from them. And I was gonna say we meet within this week, no, but it's not, it is science of reading this week, is it not?
And math.
Yeah, okay, and math.
Okay.
So we'll know a little bit more.
Okay.
We're gonna get we have someone dedicated to our county from the state, Vanessa Hayes, that meets with Stephanie regularly, meets with Dora and I on the 10th, no, the 9th, I don't know what the day is. I have to look at a calendar. But so we will be doing the same thing with the math. It's just not here yet. I think it's like everything. You put all your eggs in one basket and you focus on reading. Your reading scores come up, your math may go down, or vice versa. And that's sort of where we are. And I think that's where the state is too. And they're sort of figuring we have to have a way to do both.
Hello.
Hey.
Well, like Mrs. Mancini said, Karen and I developed the schedule that is in your folder, that lilac paper, and we have been going to schools after school from 3 to 4 to offer PD. And one of the things that we focus on during this time are those GSA standards that were below 50%. And we are able to look at each school and the teachers that are there, and we help them think of ways to address those standards. And a lot of times that's using the modules that the GSA has available for students to practice. Because so many times when you look at the standard, you might think, I'm teaching that, but maybe the way that they're asking for the students to show their knowledge on it on the test is just different than what they do in a regular classroom because it's on a computer. So we go through those and we give them a module schedule so that they know that they can get so many different modules for both ELA and math each 9 weeks so they don't get overwhelmed with trying to do too many at once right before the test.
Yeah, so like with the, we took the GSA reports for math. I took them by school, wrote down their weaker standards. At these after-school sessions, we actually gave those to the teachers, and we brainstormed some ways that they can implement lessons to help those standards. And then we did the same thing with the iReady for K-5. We took that benchmark, beginning of the year benchmark, and we're analyzing that data. We've actually created a form that looks like this. And this is for math, so it has the 4 math domains. So each grade level is looking at their students, coming up with how many of their students, or some teachers are choosing to put the names of the students in these boxes, and then how to address them. So we're showing them things in iReady. Once they take that test, it shows groupings for the students. And then if you click on those groupings, it tells you lessons that can be used for those students. So then they go in, they can pull those lessons, they use them in small group instruction, the interventionists can also use them. So we're trying to pinpoint exactly what those kids need and giving them exactly what they need during those small group and intervention sessions.
And just like Karen said, her form for the math, we have the same kind of form for ELA. So we look at phonemic awareness and think about where those deficits are. We look at phonics, we look at high frequency words, we look at vocabulary, of course, comprehension, and we give them things that they can do in iReady and also things that they could do just instructionally. And those kind of things we can definitely look into our curriculum for, because for phonemic awareness, last year we got every school has parity for grades K through 2, and when we all have UFly, and that's our phonics program. And that's something that every teacher is doing, so we have that dedicated time to phonemic awareness and phonics, those foundational skills. So we hope that those scores continue to climb.
All right, so then after we do these 3 to 4 o'clock school-wide PDs, we're going back in a couple weeks. We give them the forms. They have a couple weeks to look at how they can address those standards. And then we're going back in and we're meeting with the individual teachers during their planning periods. And we are looking at things like data. We're looking at how we can help them with their whole group lesson and their small group instruction. We are looking at things like curriculum issues, questions that they might have. And then from those 2-week follow-ups, we are then scheduling with individual teachers, especially our new teachers who've never taught, who've never seen the curriculum. And of course, we have a new math curriculum. I'll talk about that in a few minutes. So it's new to everybody this year, including myself. So, it's a learning curve. But we want to make sure that the whole county is using the same curriculum. I think that is going to be one of the things that's really going to benefit us. If our kindergarten's using it, by the time they get to 1st grade, they're going to have the foundations, so that if everyone is on the same page, it's going to definitely make a difference when it comes to 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade taking the test. So then we also have made sure that all of our teachers have pacing guides. With our new math curriculum, I went through K-5 and created a pacing guide for each grade level. And on this pacing guide, it's exactly what it says it is. It kind of paces them. This week I should be doing this. And so I list the lessons that they should be doing and then what materials they need to do that lesson with, so that the teachers aren't trying to make it a little bit easier for them to go in and have the materials that they need. And then also on that pacing guide, we have the assessments, like Stephanie had alluded to before. We are taking those summative assessment modules, which are like the practice test, and we're having them work on those from the beginning of the year so that our students are familiar with how the questions are worded and how the platform works. So that's what we're doing with going back in after our 2-week sessions, and then we're meeting with individual teachers.
And in addition to the county, or to the PDs that we're providing at schools, we're also providing countywide PD here at the county office. In fact, just before this meeting, Karen and I just led a session for 3rd grade teachers on test authoring. And test authoring is a form of assessment that is with our Candy and with our GSA, and it shows teachers how they can create tests based on standards that they need to work on, and they have additional ways to practice that test with their students. They can assign that test so the students have practice doing it on the computer. They can even just project a question on that test and really dig down deep into how they can answer that and what that test question is actually asking. So we've had sessions of test authoring. We've had one for 4th grade. We've had one for 3rd grade this evening, and we have one coming up later in October for 5th grade. So every teacher has had the opportunity to come and have that session.
And with that test authoring program, it's been a summative assessment. A lot of times, it's not that our teachers aren't teaching the standards. It's that the way that those questions are worded on that test are difficult. So one of the things that, one of the trainings I've been looking at is this thinking classrooms, building the thinking classrooms. And in this book, they talk about how we need to go back to having student engagement, student problem solving, and this model will create a dynamic learning environment that prioritizes active participation. That's one of the things I know elementary and middle and high school is a little bit different. In elementary, we do have more active participation, but in middle schools and high schools, I think that participation, the engagement probably lessens. I'm just saying probably. I don't know. I'm not a middle school, but I know, I've had kids who go through it. They do a lot of, not working together. They do a lot of individual work. Whereas the Building Thinking Classroom has our students working together. And it also has a lot of problem solving and critical thinking that a lot of times we as teachers, we feed our kids too much. We don't let them think as much as we should. I'm guilty. So that's one of the things that I proposed is to do this lesson as a class in the spring. So that's another PD that even if people can't attend that, I'm also doing some of these lessons I've actually modeled in the classroom what this looks like. So it's using vertical whiteboards. If you've ever heard of the term vertical whiteboards, the kids are in groups, 2 to 3 students, and you group them randomly. They're not like, okay, this child here is super bright, so I'm going to pair them with someone who struggles a little bit. You don't do that. They're random. So that a lot of times, if the teacher pairs the kids, they'll pair that child because they know maybe they struggle a little bit and this kid can help them. But in these random groups, all kids are required to talk. They're vertical, so they're up, they're looking around, and it's okay to look over at the next person's board to see what they're doing. And they're the writing surfaces are the whiteboards because if you give a kid a piece of paper and a pencil, they're very hesitant to start writing something. Whereas if you give them a dry erase marker and an eraser, they'll start writing something. So that is part of the student engagement. It's part of this book. And then as Julie was saying a little bit earlier, we were talking science of reading. We now have the Unite with Numeracy team. And myself and 4 other teachers from the county went to the training in Morgantown. So we are a team. We've met as a team twice. And then I know Vanessa's coming with the science of reading, and with Vanessa is Catherine Elam, who will be coming here the same day and trying to get our team prepared. We're in this planning stages, so we were given a document to complete. But part of this is the 5 of us would go out into those classrooms and meet with those teachers. And a lot of it is about this building thinking classrooms. and using those new they're not new, the mathematical habits of mind, which are pre-K to 12th grade. So that's kind of what that United Numeracy is. So all teachers will be given lessons, PD, in how to use this to get the students more actively engaged. I think I talked enough. Oh, yeah, and the Reveal Math, that's the one thing, our new curriculum. We did have 2 members from every school this year was part of our adoption team. We met several times and they did a very deep dive into all the different curriculums available. Each school then voted, and then McGraw-Hill, which is the company that we went with, they provided training to every school at that first week of, that the teachers returned. So every school had the same training, and I heard from most people that it was the best training that they've ever had. So then I continue to support that curriculum. I'm still learning it. I've been in many virtual meetings with people from McGraw-Hill. And like I said, we did those pacing guides with Reveal. And one of the things that I really like about our new Reveal program is that it has an exit ticket every day. So every day, at the end of that class, the students are showing what they've done for the day. If they struggle, if they don't understand that, then that teacher is to take those exit tickets and those students who weren't successful, and the next day, they meet with them in a small group and reteach it prior to the new lesson starting. So that's one thing I do really like about Reveal. And I think most of the teachers are liking it. It's just getting the feel for it. So we're working through that now. All right, thank you.
And like was mentioned, I'm the leader of the science of reading team here, and 7 other teachers and me, we make up the science of reading team. And last year, we worked together, and in October, we presented a countywide PD to every elementary teacher, and we talked about what the science of reading was. This year, we're charged with talking about how to implement the skills and the things that you learn with the science of reading, and we're looking at doing that in January. In addition to that, like Karen was mentioning the class that she's going to offer, I'm offering a class right now for kindergarten and first grade teachers called Dig Deep Dive into Foundational Skills. And we are actually using this book, Reading Above the Fray by Julia Lindsay. And we're really trying to address those foundational skills for kindergarten and first grade students. We want to make sure that we get those foundational skills solid so they become stronger readers as they go on. One of the PDs that I offered over the summer was called text sets, building text sets to go with Wonders. Because one of the things that I've really tried to do in my role here is to make sure everything fits around our ELA curriculum, which is Wonders. So over the summer in June, we had 26 teachers, 12 primary and 14 intermediate, and we built these text sets that go along with Wonders. In your folder, you have a white piece of paper that has a whole bunch of blue links on it. And Todd is going to help me out with showing you what some of these links do. And if you look at the top, it has the essential question. This is a example text set for my fourth grade book. And the essential question for this text set is what happens during natural disasters and how people respond to natural disasters. Okay. So one of the standards that is typically missed on the GSA are the standards that students need to listen to and then answer questions. So we found when we were making these text sets that every single Wonders unit starts with something that kids can listen to. So in this one about natural disasters, they can listen to this one about avalanches. And what we wanted to do in this document is available for all the teachers to access, and they can download this off of OneDrive. So instead of going to Wonders to search through where this is, they can just click on that link and it goes directly to that from that document. We also wanted to make sure that teachers are realizing how their ELA curriculum can relate to science and social studies. So since this one is talking about natural disasters, We have this social studies book, and the link is right there for you, and you can click on it, and it will open up that book so they can actually be reading about something they're reading about in English or in reading while they're doing their social studies curriculum. And so this one is about how you can improve communities of working together. And obviously that's part of pulling together after a natural disaster. Okay. And then we just wanted multiple texts for students to read about this same topic. Because research has shown that when students read a whole bunch of different things that are about the same topic, it increases their vocabulary and it improves their reading comprehension. So here's an example from ReadWorks that connects to the earthquakes and all of that. And it's just a quick link on the document and they get that immediately. And then the ReadWorks is something that's free for teachers, so they don't have to pay for it. They can just go to the site and it's there. We also have RAS Kids. It's available for us on ClassLink. And they can click on the RAS Kids one and they see that book about earthquakes and tsunamis. They can click on it, open it up, they can project it, they can print out this book if they need to, but it's just another source that students can read about that natural disaster theme. And we also use Epic on ClassLink. Here's a book about tornadoes by Gail Gibbons. And so that book is there. The great thing about Epic is students can take their iPad and they can listen to it if they can't read it, or they can read it independently, or the teacher can project it and use it as a teaching tool. So I'm really proud of the teachers that worked on this because this was a huge undertaking. It took 9 hours. They, as professional or as a stipend, they put this together. And we have these for kindergarten through 5th grade, and they're available on OneDrive. Thanks, Todd.
And it's every unit.
Every unit for 1 unit.
So they can go to one place and get everything that they would need for that lesson.
Yes, every grade level is finished right now except for kindergarten. We still need to add a few in there.
Created by that team.
Yeah.
Here, not the company.
Right. Yes, so we had great teachers that worked really, really hard. Thank you.
Mr. Evans, question.
Yeah, I have just, this is something that you talk about 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade. I know that's a crucial time in all these children's lives. And, I started picking on little Johnny. So tonight I'm gonna pick on little Adam. Little Adam is in the 3rd grade and math, reading, what have you, he's not going well, or he doesn't do well, and you have a lot of tools in the toolbox, teachers have the same thing. Well then, little Adam gets to the 4th grade, and there's not a great deal of improvement. And then he gets to the 5th grade, and there's not much improvement. Now, what do we do for little Adam when we got him to the end of the 5th grade, and he's getting ready to go into middle school, and he's still not very math proficient, or reading proficient, or science proficient? What do we do for little Adam when we get into middle school? Do we just forget about him, or is there something that we go back as a school system and do to help him? Because otherwise, he's going to drown.
Well, I think personally, if we have a child in 3rd grade who is struggling, I think in continually struggling, then maybe we bring him for the SAT team and go from there. And we provide interventions, tier 2, tier 3 interventions. And then obviously if that doesn't work, then we go the testing route and see if there is, a special education, something like that. But typically our students, we work with them, Title I, the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 interventions.
ASTs, interventionists, usually there shows a gain. Sometimes you're so far behind for whatever reason, you can't make that up. But really, if you want to see something that gains, you can see our scores have stayed in a decent range. Everybody wants to have 100. We don't have 100. I think we could all take the test and not have 100, just to let you know. But we need to replicate something like this for middle and high school kids. These guys are going in, working with teachers, working with students in the classroom. I was a middle and high school teacher. I would have loved to have somebody like that especially if I was struggling or not knowing what to do with the class. We had one school that had a substitute, the same group of kids, 2 or 3 years, small group, but still substitute, non-certified. These two were in there. They're one of our higher scores in the county. It just helps. It helps. Kids need more people, not more things.
And we're really trying to make a presence with the teachers because, we want to be there. So we're out in the schools, so I think they feel comfortable asking us for help. Whereas, maybe before we didn't have that. So I think they're realizing that we are there for them. We're not,
Where a principal may feel more comfortable asking me for something, teachers feel more comfortable asking them.
And the teachers that I've worked with, especially because I've been taking these tech sets at every place I've gone, I've said, go to OneDrive, I will show you how to get these. Because they're like, oh my goodness, I don't have time to search wonders. And I want to be able to know something I can use right there, and it's all there, click, 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 and they can get a hold of it. And for what you were saying about the student that's struggling, if a student can't read on grade level when he's in the 4th grade, this gives a lot of different opportunities for things on many different levels. So it's important that child still gets exposed to that grade level text with the teacher and with support. But within that text set, there are things that he could read possibly that are shorter or that will be read aloud to him. There's different modifications in these text sets to provide a really easy entrance into that.
Because I know a lot of these children, let's face it, they're not going to get the help at home that they need, and so if we don't do something for them in our schools and in our classrooms, and that's not to say that you ladies aren't doing a very good job. It's going to take time, but like I said, when it keeps taking so much time, and all of a sudden we got 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, and then all of a sudden we send you to middle school, a lot of times, then they become more of a discipline problem than they do a situation.
And tonight, we're talking 3rd and 4th grade, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, because that's where the test scores are. These guys start with kindergarten up. So they're working with the little guys too. Yeah. So we've got 5 years to make a difference. When you hit middle school, they've only got 3.
Okay. So we're going to see a big change next year.
Well, I think you need this everywhere, but
I think we're going to see increases.
I just,
think you need to, and these guys are in 11 schools, it's a lot, and they're strung out all over the county. It's a large thing to get to. It's hard to get to that many teachers. It's gonna be the same thing if you try to replicate it in a middle school or high
do
school.
you all go to the same school at the same time?
No,
Or you go-
we're all over the place.
Yeah, you should have seen us try to make that schedule for us to not be in the same place at the same time.
We're trying not to overwhelm teachers taking planning, or even asking them to stay after school too many times in a row. We have lots of people with little kids, all kinds of things.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. I would say in the last 10, 12 years, we, as a school system, has improved the identifying students that are struggling a whole lot better than we ever did before. Ladies, did you see a lot of excitement from the teachers? Because I know at times, you get to a certain point in your career and you don't want to see this change, but it sounds like there's a great deal of enthusiasm coming into this.
I think our
3
teachers
to
are really
4.
happy to see that we as a county are on the same page.
Good.
I think that they feel much more comfortable that they're not having to go and find stuff on their own
Getting the
because
support they need.
they are being supported.
And we've gotten really great results on our session evaluations. People are happy with the PD we're offering. They're happy with the ways that we deliver it. And they know that they can count on us to follow up with them if they need any help or support.
They're also supporting a countywide, we're doing a countywide writing program that we've not had before. So offering those for teachers where we're using the same program. That will make a difference as well.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay,
This brings us down to delegations. We have one delegation this evening. Foreseen, 5 minutes.
Thank you. Pass this around, so what we're here to talk about. My name's Chip Corsini. I am on the board of the Patrons of the Park Foundation. We're a nonprofit foundation, local foundation here in Clarksburg. I have Deb Barner, who is also part of our board. We also have Sean Bennett, Timmy Piazzi, Amelia Randolph, and Tanya Caton on our board. And what we do and what we have done over the last 10 years or so is to support the youth of Harrison County through various programs. Some of it has been through drug awareness, athletic type endeavors, food banks. We started out supporting the old Adamston Food Bank. I think Melody Nichols was who was our first contact, and she left, and I believe Pat Carey and Kim Reeser took it over, and then they retired, and then Matt McCullough is who we are dealing with now. I think he's Wilsonburg, but that program has sort of evolved. They do a lot of providing holiday meals for families that can't afford it. They also do, special needs like backpacks, pencils, clothing items for underprivileged kids. So we've done that, and we've also have helped the WI Food Bank as well. Another one that we support is Kelly Miller Food Bank. I wanted to mention that as well too. So a couple of weeks ago, Deb brought to our board the idea of these guardian cats. And I don't know, maybe you've seen these on ESPN or in the paper or what have you. They were designed to provide some protection for football players. And we all know that concussion, death, permanent injuries, spinal cord injuries, and other type injuries, it's a violent sport. And so this company, Guardian, came out with this cap that fits over top of the football helmet. And, the NFL this year is actually allowing players to wear those during games if they would like. It'd be great if the SSAC would mandate something similar to that here in West Virginia, because I'm sure everybody's aware of Cohen Craddock, the 13-year-old in Boone County, at practice, hit in the head, stood up, fell down, never regained consciousness. Makes you wonder if he'd have had that. You don't know. So the idea that Deb brought to our board was, let's buy these for all of the players, the high school players in Harrison County. And this happened relatively quick. I got a hold of the Eastern Seaboard rep for Guardian. I sent an email. They got back to me within one day, gave me a price. So I said, well, I had originally priced $200. I said, let me get an accurate count. So we went to the football coaches and we got a count of players on their teams. And so it worked out to about 240. So sent them another email. They redid the quote. Those run about $70 a piece. But because we ordered as many as we did, we got a discount down to $51. So we saved about $4,000. We spent about just right around $13,000 for 240 of these. And so we have started distributing these to, Burt has theirs, South Harrison has theirs, Liberty has theirs, Lincoln and Bridgeport will have theirs before the end of the week. There's been a lot of studies about the effect of these. Because of the padding, you'll feel it creates more of a glancing blow, hopefully. And, and also they were talking, and I didn't even think about this, but I read on their website that hits to joints, helmet on the knee. With the padding, maybe not so much damage, but, so anyway, that's what we've done. I contacted Doug last week, paid for this last week, and by Thursday, I had 20 boxes, 20 huge boxes delivered to my office. And so we started dividing them up based on the number of kids that each high school had. The response from the coaches has been phenomenal. And so we're very happy to do this for these kids. And Doug, thanks for inviting us here tonight to just tell you the story, a little bit about our foundation. We're just a small foundation, but we like giving back to the kids of Harrison County in any way that we can. So anybody have any questions?
We typically during delegations do not interact with the delegation, but I would like to invite you back as a special recognition or presentation, and then we can come and talk to you, and we can have an interaction back and forth between us. So I think we have a meeting next week. Are we scheduling a meeting next week? 15th? Oh, no, it's the 15th. Yes, 2 weeks. Maybe we can get on the agenda, put you on the agenda if you want to come back.
Sure.
Ask questions.
Okay, I can come back. That's not a
Yes,
problem.
I'm sorry, I'd like to let you speak. a little bit longer.
It's fine. We just want to come and let you all know what we did for these kids, and hopefully, if it saves one kid, it's well worth the money, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks. Take care.
Just get the information to, if you can get the information, Mr. Hope, if you can get Mrs. Stutler, you can get Mrs. Stutler the information, she can set him up. Okay, thank you. All right, that brings us down to superintendent's update. Superintendent Stutler.
Sure. We've had a lot of things happening. I want to say thank you to Julie and her team and the work that they're doing. I appreciate it. I see it every day and see how hard they're working. So, and we did see some gains, so we appreciate that. And then next meeting, you'll hear from the secondary group and you'll see our scores and what our plan is working on the secondary side. Also wanted to let you know, I had a thank you the last time from Dr. Kelly Nelson. I have a thank you from James Griffin from the West Virginia Black Heritage Festival for the contribution that the board made. So I just wanted to share his letter. He was very grateful and said they had a great festival this year and looked forward to working with us again. So, and then I also wanted to let you know, I just found this out yesterday. We have a visit happening at Bridgeport Middle. And I don't know whether you're familiar, it's called Steam Tech. It's a group out of WVU, Donna Peduto, does that name ring a bell? She's been around a long time in education. She's going to be at Bridgeport Middle on Thursday with the state board president. They'll be there, they'll be there all day, so the state board president's coming down to see the presentation with WVU, and they'll be working on, it's a STEAM learning experience. And they're looking at plant biology, and they're looking at it through the eyes of a VOAG program. So it's CTE, just an offering for kids to see it. It's going to be 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. So they'll be there at Bridgeport Middle. So we're excited to have them and glad they're coming down to visit. And I think it'll be great for kids.
What time is that?
It's all day there at Bridgeport Middle. Nancy White, the state board president, I believe, is arriving about 12:15 or so.
What day is that?
Thursday, this week. And I just found out about it yesterday. Glad to know. Also, just to let you know, I have been out visiting some schools, and just to let you know, Todd Rubenstein had a birthday. If you ever go to an elementary school and the principal's having a birthday, I heard it 150 times while I was there. So Todd came in for something the other day. I said, "Happy birthday, Todd." I saw him over the meeting. But so that's actually when I got done. I think the whole 30 minutes I was there or longer. And then they had a fire drill, so then we heard it all the way out and all the way. So anyway, that's why we love being in the schools, because that's what our kids do. And so I also went to Victory, and they have a new system there with the gym, and it's called the Loo, and it's an interactive playground inside. It's technology, and she's just learning to use it, and they can program that, and kids can do all types. Have you heard of it, Dr. Cheeseman? Do you have it?
Yeah.
Of course you do. So we're just now getting that up and running, so, it was exciting to see, and the phys ed teacher was excited to have it. I believe we're getting one for another building. We had some grant money, and another court is getting one as well, so. So I have been out and, seeing some of the schools and visiting. Of course, I've been out a lot visiting. As a follow-up, we had our needs assessment visit. We had the first one where we walked around to look at all the projects. I've been to those schools multiple times. And then this past one was at Mr. Lopez Thursday. She came up, the SBA sent a representative up. It was Joyce Van Gilder. We worked with her quite a bit on all of our projects. She's assigned to Harrison County. She came up and did a site visit on what our proposal was. And by the end of that visit, it seemed quite positive. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. There are principal interviews, I believe, the end of November, maybe around the 18th or 19th, so we're excited to do that. So that'll just lead me right into Mr. Lopez for facilities update. What else is going on?
Yeah, and we also, with that site visit, looking at the lunchroom expansion at Roxyburg, the CTE program with a large shop area, and also for the foods program that they're looking at renovating a particular space to accommodate that and have all that equipment. Is at Liberty, I think Danny is actually teaching that. And so there's a lot of excitement over that. They also took some of the final look at the secure entrances. I think that final design is ready to roll out in advertising. We were funded with that last spring with an MIP project. So you should see something pretty soon being advertised for that. That's exciting. The fire marshal will be finally testing the equipment, the hood over at South Harrison Middle School tomorrow. So paperwork was misfiled, not any fault of ours. It was in the fire marshal's office. Wasn't the fire marshal for the deputy. It just got misfiled. So they found it. So they're coming out to do the final inspection tomorrow, and hopefully we can have a fully functional kitchen there by the beginning of next week. I think they had to do some work with the health department as well. We have, just so you know, maintenance and facilities have been very busy. HVAC is always a concern. We come out of a real hot spell. I was able to get a hold of Casto, and we have these controls. Everything's computerized within our system, except for some of the older equipment and the window units. So we are going to be sending some of our guys to some additional training so they can work with some of the programming and making sure that they can get right into the program and see the temperatures in there, some of the settings, the O2 levels. So those guys are very receptive, our HVAC guys. They're thirsting for that knowledge, and so we're pleased with that. Also very pleased with the recommendation we're going to bring to you tonight to replace as the maintenance supervisor, Harrison County guy that has worked himself up through the ranks, has owned some businesses here in the county. Very understanding of construction and in the process. Been very pleased with the ability to be able to replace such a strong maintenance director as Danny. So we all love him. We're going to miss him. I think our next chapter is going to be very positive as well. Danny very supportive and sharing knowledge with our new person that we're recommending tonight, and great working relationship. So we're very pleased with that. As a matter of fact, we're going over at 6:30 tomorrow morning. We're going to meet at 7 with all the maintenance guys to introduce our new maintenance director. So as far as transportation, we're busy. We've had a lot of absences. I've had my bus supervisors out driving, but we haven't missed a route yet. So we're going to continue to hold true to that. Other than that, unless you have any questions.
Yeah, what about, how about an update on Simpson?
Yeah, Simpson, we were very fortunate to go over, Dora and I went over with a representative from McKinley, and we were able to meet with the city of Bridgeport. They were very helpful and supportive. They're able to allow us to put a road starting on Center Street to get the ramp and the elevation correct so that we can get our equipment up in there. That's at no cost to the county. Very supportive from the city of Bridgeport. I was very impressed with how they handled it. McKinley handled themselves well in developing that plan. So you'll see a road being built on the backside of the property. The street will be one way. Again, I can't be more thankful for the city of Bridgeport's work with the Harrison County Board of Education to get this project underway. So we will see some progress there. I did ask the magic question, what about substantial completion? And, cautiously optimistic, and I think it will happen, that we'll have those kids in place in those classrooms by the beginning of the school year. And if not, it'll be very close. But I think it looks very positive.
Yeah, I think their estimate is to get equipment on that property in 2 weeks.
Yes.
That was exciting.
Yeah.
We're about a month and a half behind.
Right, so we're excited about that. I've lost some air.
So we didn't have to deal with the neighbor anymore.
No, we were just able to get the road,
Okay.
So it's a positive for everybody involved, the neighbors, and we'll continue to work very diligently with the neighbors as we progress, because there's some homes that are closed, so that we keep the disruption down as much as possible. The neighbor's been very good, very positive, so.
I know, I've been dealing with them on the Nutter Ford job. I'm kind of the supervisor.
We have one neighbor over there that is a problem.
And they told me we're going to start
Think
laying
about it.
blocks.
And the Nutter Ford project's ahead of schedule because they had them all over there waiting to get them sent.
I gave them a good talk.
Little head there.
The Nutter Ford project, I know, and I've listened to some of the chatter, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot being done.
Oh,
But the foundation is put in and it's intact, and all the utilities have been roughed in, and they're ready to come up now out of the ground, so you're gonna see a lot of progress there. They were very pleased with their progress. The weather was very helpful
mhm.
to the dry spell, so I think we're positive really with both of those projects.
Yeah, the only other update is on the Siemens project, and Todd, I know you and Jason were at a lot of sites, getting the equipment placed or finding positionings for those, so that was exciting. They were busy really the last week and a half. When I was out, I'd run past them sometimes when they were there with the Siemens project, so it's moving along very well. And of course, we have Dr. Cheeseman here that will talk about, you can have questions if you have, because we have that on the agenda tonight, another proposal for school safety. That's all I have.
Thank you. All right, this brings us to item 6, consent items. Is there a motion to approve consent items?
I move to approve. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. New business, memorandum of understanding with United Hospital Center Incorporated for medical director services. Is there a motion to accept the memorandum of understanding? Medical services for Harrison County as needed, estimated cost of $6,000 a year.
So moved.
All right, is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, this brings us to rank 1 computer proposal. Is there a motion to accept the school proposal for rank 1 computing as recommended by the superintendent? If there's a motion, we can get it on the floor to discuss.
I move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, is there open for discussion? Are there any questions? Dr. Cheeseman is here if there are any questions for anyone to ask.
I think we asked questions ahead of time, I should have taken the opportunity to go out and visit, is what I should have done myself personally, or any of us. to see how it works, since we do have a working system
Mhm.
at United.
Sure.
No, like I said, he's been here, he's explained it, Todd's explained it back to the superintendent, Paxton, so, like I said, they believe in it, and they make me a believer.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, I have a question. One of the board members sent me an article, and one of the concerns was by the ACLU, that it harmed students. Have you addressed that at all?
Yes, you can come, you can come forward.
I'm just kind of curious, because we have cameras inside the school
Is it the
building.
facial recognition?
Yeah, so I read the article that, you're
Yeah, so
citing.
if you could just,
Sure, so
I guess
if you,
you all didn't get it, it came to me. Should have been the last one. And then it came to me first, so I thought everybody received it, so I never said anything about sending it out till tonight. And that's why
That's okay. Go ahead, Mr. Cheatham, go ahead.
yeah, so I'll address the article and then some privacy questions. If you click on the actual article and pull open his link, the first thing you'll see is a big donations page to the ACLU, okay? So I'll leave that for you all to decide there. In terms of privacy issues, these are, what Rock has is not cameras, right? They're your existing cameras. All we're providing is a software that then would detect guns and would detect, obviously, if you chose to do visitor management, it would do facial recognition. But the server in which all of those images go to is your server, right? So part of the proposal is have a standalone server, all the images go there. So you already have servers in your system that collect the exact same information every single day. The server that we would add, again, would belong to you, the data would belong to you, would just sit right next to your existing server and in essence do the same thing, except our software would detect weapons, guns, so on and so forth. Yeah, that answered your question.
yes.
it's like you say about our server, our cameras and what have you. I know in the school, when I was principal there, if we had something come up missing or what have you, we could go back, once we could locate the area, we could go back and we could pull it up and we could see the child and the child's face and everything. And then we would use, we would call the parents in, all, wouldn't happen. Same thing on the buses, had same situation on buses where camera picked up and it showed the child, it was not, it's just to prove that this act had occurred and there was, validity to it. And like I said, maybe call a parent says, are you sure? If you'll come in, we'll show you, in the privacy of the office, we'll show you what took place. And, usually the parent was,
I think initially we're using that system for the perimeter checks in the parking lots right now, but we'll have the capability
Correct,
to expand to other things.
correct. Yeah, the initial proposal will be more so for the perimeter and then as
What we're
you,
doing at United.
correct, that's right.
if somebody's on one of our sites, with a gun or whatever, to me, it's irrelevant if you pick up their face, because, children's lives are at stake. And we gotta do what we gotta do. And then we gotta fight whatever the consequences that may come from it. But like I say, if we save one child, as well as a multitude of children, in a school, outside, inside, I think it's well worth.
And to your, if I may, just one more, to your point, remember, this is an additional security layer. It will not replace the PRO, but if it buys the PRO 10 to 15 seconds, right, then they're gonna know where it's at and they can go to the point.
Thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion or questions? All right. Motion is on the floor. Is all of those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, out-of-state travel study request. Is there a motion to accept the out-of-state travel study request as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Is any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. No old business, no policy updates, personnel matters. Is there a motion to approve the personnel agenda as recommended by the superintendent? Okay,
Make a motion to approve the personnel.
is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All right, if there's no discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, legal and disciplinary matters. This next legal and disciplinary item, if anyone would like to go into executive session to discuss it, motion would need to be made. If not, is there a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation of suspension of the employee?
I make a motion to approve the suspension.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. And the superintendent is recommending a one-day suspension of Paul Hoskins. This brings us down to board member comments. Mr. Tucker, do you have any board member comments?
Yeah, just to thank those individuals, the ladies that came, spoke with Mrs. Mancini, that already worked this evening already, and take the time to commend anybody that came to the meeting. Thank you all.
Mr. Hook?
In the words of my grandfather, a still tongue makes a wise head. So I have no comments.
Dr. Santilli?
Yeah, kudos to Julie and Stephanie and Karen and everyone else that, as a retired public school teacher, oh my goodness, that somebody has sent me a list of links. I mean, that's gold. It's gold. Thank you so much.
Ms. Smith?
I'm good.
I have no further comments. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Adjourned.